first things first, the defaults. I'm Frank. I'm also working at Ubi Labs, and this is my Twitter and GitHub. Defaults. About this talk, how to replicate the internet into the browser was the title, is the title. Sad thing, too long don't read, it does not really work yet. This is sad face. This is normally how the talks go. I explain what, why, how, when, and where it's possible, when it's possible. It does not really work yet, totally. So I choose another path for this talk. First, how this started. We had at Ubi Labs we had a project for a customer where we had to deliver offline functionality with some kind of database, and the data included images and stuff. Just data and a lot of images, and changing it and offline changing it and syncing it back to the database server. We were really fortunate to choose our own database system. It was the CouchDB, because Klaus is a committer, I don't know. And then we thought, okay, CouchDB Day, okay, it would be cool to show how we did it to work offline. It worked, and it was cool, and but we cannot show the project because it's secret. So the next best thing is a feed reader. We thought back then. It's a little bit difficult. It's complicated sometimes. How it came out until today, it was like not as easy as we thought. A lot of hiccups. I really tried to build an sample app to show how an offline feed reader could work in a really simple way, and just using CouchDB, and but I explain later how this all came out then. So I thought I just don't show a full app which you can use. I just talk about what I found out, and what I think could be workarounds for working offline and getting not the data, but the main problem is the assets offline. Okay, CouchDB was the first thing. We all know this. Maybe you more than I, because I'm more the front-end guy and not really the back-end. But I don't need to explain this, I think. Then we have the CouchDB. That's where I come in. It's basically, okay, that's not basically, but it's kind of a CouchDB for the browser. And that's what they say. It's written to help web developers build applications that work offline. That's exactly what we wanted. And it worked for our customer case. Why it worked later, but it didn't work for us now. Because the application saves data locally, that's fine. It's synced and replicate with CouchDB. Like, you don't have to do anything, you just set it up, and your local database is always in sync. It's CouchDB in the end. But there's no UI saved in the CouchDB. So you can have the case that you have connection, you're on your pouch, you're on your CouchDB, connecting to it, syncing, everything is fine. Then you lose connection, and you can work with the data that's in the pouch, in the browser, locally safe, but you shouldn't really reload the page because it's not saved. The UI is not saved. If you reload the page, the thing is not. Yeah.
I've done this. It's called app cache.
I come to this.
And what you do is you check if things have changed.
I come to this. It's on the next slide, I think. But I want to show how we got to this, where we ended up. So with CouchDB, you have all the data locally. That's fine. That's the most important part, maybe sometimes. But you can't really use it if you just close the tab or accidentally reload or something. So there must be another thing. CouchDB is good for timeouts. You can, as I said, you can just work and everything is streamed when the internet connection comes back. But it's not used for offline, closing tab, reload, stuff like that. Then, application cache. It's application cache is like it's really cool. It's easy to understand. It's easy to use, but it's had its drawbacks. It's really cool for static stuff. You can just define things in the app cache manifest, like scripts, CSS, HTML, whatever you need to have your app running. It's easy to set up, as I said, but it's a real douchebag. Just look at this link. It's from, I forgot the name. Yeah, right. Jade did a real good write-up about what's wrong with app cache and what's right with app cache. In our environment where we worked for our customer, it was really cool. It was all we needed. It was we had a couch and we had our interface to the couch / CouchDB, and we saved just the UI stuff, the HTML, CSS, JavaScript. We saved in the via app cache in the browser. It was fine. It was nice. But it's difficult to update with changing assets. Means a feed reader normally, that's what we wanted to do. You want to have like images and stuff, maybe even sound files. It's difficult because of the size to save it locally, but images would be nice to not just have some text from text side, from websites. For Fefe it might be easy, he doesn't have images, but there are a lot of Tumblrs where you want to have the images maybe. And that's really difficult to have with app cache. You can't really cache the files that are on other servers, really, in a wildcard way. You have to create another app cache manifest for each image that you want to download. And the browser has to go through the app cache, the changed app cache, and download the GIFs, and then you have this, yeah. But it's not really the way it should be, I think. I concentrated on the image part because most of the blogs and sites we use or read via things is has to do with text and images. The easiest way is not to refer to the actual image, but to have a crawler. You need a crawler in the end. You have to have a server component. And the server component could just inline the image, download it, base64 encode it, and inline it into the source tag, image tag, and the source attribute, and save it as a document. Then you have everything you need in your database. It could just download the image and save it as attachment. Then we need some work on the client because we need to have the client decide, okay, here is an image tag and I need to get it from my local database. So basically. Or we could use something else. And this something else, application cache, was fine for our project we had, but it was not fine for feed reader where we had to or wanted to use assets that we don't control. There are some words in the in this talk until now that I use later. It's like environment and control. I explain later a little bit, but that are the basic words that we need to have an offline application. I found out my guess. The other thing is service workers. Service workers are really nice, in theory, really, really nice. I found it's a little bit difficult to work with, but I think it's just me. Sometimes you don't get a head around it, and but I think they're really nice and they should solve the problem. You can just build your own app cache, only better, of course, and you can just intercept requests. You install the service worker in your browser and it runs in the background each time your page is loaded, or even if it's not loaded. And the service worker gets, when you make a request to, every request you make from this page, the server is registered to, the service worker knows about it, and you can just say, okay, a request with an image tag, don't let it through to the internet, just give it the image from the CouchDB maybe, or something else, or from the local storage, or wherever you store these kind of things then. Yeah, basically you can build your own app cache, but better. That's what I just said. The one thing is, it can't work, it can't request images if you are online. So you basically have to store your image data in some other way. So you always need, again, a server component that stores the image somewhere and puts it, how you make it, it's your own choice. You could just put it in the CouchDB and sync it to the pouch, put it as an attachment to the document. You could put it in the local storage or whatever. Local storage, maybe not, but somewhere else. And you can have the service worker do the rewrite of the request to that image. That's the theory. I didn't really get that far, and I think I want to use this forum here later to have a workshop about it maybe, because I get my documents from the normal site via the CouchDB, but I don't get it from the service worker. The CouchDB is something talking about something method not allowed or something. I don't get it. It's the same request, but it doesn't work. Maybe someone can help me out with this. So that's the theory. It should work, and you can just build your own requests and redirect your requests to assets you want to have. Yeah, and yeah, that's the recap. There's not much else you can do to make things offline. You have to have your database, your document database, and you have to have your assets. Let's talk images, and you have to find a way to request these things offline. With app cache, you have a nice possibility to make static files work with a CouchDB, but dynamic assets is difficult. What I think is a way to go is just try to get your stuff in the couch before you get offline. That means have your server component do the heavy lifting, like fetching not only the blog post, let's say, but also the image, and work with the image, make it base 64, put it as an attachment, put it as an own document in the database or whatever. But this has to be done before you get offline, I think. That's the point where what I said before, you have to build your own controlled environment for your offline application, so that you don't need to rely on dynamic parts and dynamic assets and stuff like that. You have to have your JavaScript that you work with, your HTML and your CSS, basically static, not really changing that much, and with this you should, and your database, your pouch, and with this you should be really good. Yeah, this is what we did in our. That's why we were a little bit surprised. We had our secret project for our customer, and it worked really well because we didn't have to think about just how do we handle links, or how do we handle like these source attributes and images and stuff. We just could build it from scratch ourselves. So we put the attachments, the assets in the attachments of the image of the documents, and just worked like that. And we thought, okay, it's easy. It was easy. We just use app cache, and we make just a feed reader of it. What's the problem? But that's actually the problem because we don't have a controlled environment. We built our own controlled environment to have it offline. That's basically what I think I found out. Service workers are really cool in theory. That's what I think, but I really don't get them that much. It's like I think I have to a little bit to work with them more. But I think it's a really cool technique. Yeah, that's what I think. And this slide I put in just 5 minutes ago. No, 15 minutes ago. I think I want to offer you a workshop. I have my kind of app ready, and we can just talk about what I built in it and what you would make better. And I like to get some help and offer a workshop, maybe, if someone's interested. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much. Cool. Okay, I think we are not too bad in running out of time, so we can make a question and answers, and I would ask Klaus to come here again, just for some seconds. And you heard 2 talks, so go ahead and just ask some questions to both of them.
Okay.
Any questions?
My question is, can you query views on CouchDB?
What?
Query views on CouchDB?
View.
Do a query on the views?
Yeah. You can have.
What's the performance of querying views in the browser?
I don't know.
The performance is 5. No. That really depends on the backend. So, for example, in Chrome, for example, IndexedDB is pretty good, as far as I know. In Firefox, they had to fix some issues, but recently it got like way better performance as well. And as long as you get IndexedDB as a backend, this views work really nicely because IndexedDB is basically a key value store with the ability to use keys as an index, the keys have some sort of order, and we don't need more for views. So that's nicely. But if you have, like in other browsers, you CouchDB falls back to local storage as a backend, and there the performance, it will work the same, but not with the same performance. Like the same functionality, but not performance.
Also,
Wait.
on various mobile platforms, WebSQL is the fallback, and that's occasionally faster than IndexedDB for now.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, I'm running.
Yes, I can imagine the feed reader is, well, security is not a big issue, but maybe for your secret customer it is. can you do anything to protect the data from, well, after a logout and after a new login maybe in the browser?
Okay, stop. This will be interaction. That's cool. Wait a second. Okay.
So there's a CouchDB plugin called CouchDB Crypto, which I think that will answer the question.
CouchDB Crypto. CouchDB. Sorry, Pouch. Okay. Another. Wait.
Well, does it affect performance?
Does it affect performance? Was the question?
Yes.
Yes, is the answer. Okay, another question? Okay.
So to Klaus, you looked at conflicts in documents before. What about conflicts with databases? If you create the same database name on two different nodes, and then you think when they're offline, and then you get. Did you understand the question?
No, I don't. I mean, it's the same database.
No, but so you're running CouchDB 2.0, 3 nodes. One of them is down. Oh yeah, maybe you can't add. Or if you have a split brain in this between the nodes, and you add the same database with the same name on 2 of the nodes, and then they get synced together. Is there conflicts there also? Is that the same problem, or is that something else?
Okay, I guess I don't know so much about the internals of how replication is done in such a cluster. And no, just ask Bob Nielsen. He knows way more than me about.
Just a second, I have the answer.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Because Bob will talk about CouchDB 2.0 over there, and then you can ask the question, and then you will get the answer. Okay. Is that okay? Okay. So he did Erlang, and then afterwards you can.
Yeah.
Have,
To answer to the question, we have conflict.
wait a second. Here's another answer. Wait a second.
Yes.
So you will have conflicts on both databases, and that's all. You will have to solve it later.
Yeah, so in Dao you will always get all versions from a cluster. It's like all versions that you can actually get. That means like that are available, and this CouchDB does always store any version, doesn't delete or whatever anything. So your data is safe, in whatever state it is.
Okay, I would say one more question, and then go ahead and ask the speakers later in the workshops. Okay, is that okay? Cool. All right.
Hey, question about how did you work around about like loading assets, but not as part of, as being assets, like loading images not as assets, but as part of the content. So when you have, let's say you sync the user images, how you work around the browser issues. I don't know, like what's the scenarios you took like to optimize for user performance? Like if a user has like 1 gigabyte of images on the server, how you only
that we don't really thought about. It's we in our secret project, I don't gets the name now. It's the images are actually separate documents, and we just serve them. They have TIFFs in there. That's maybe just big, but it was also just a proof of concept for them. So to show, okay, CouchDB can do thinking along more than one node, and sync with local, can work local with really no connection at all for like weeks or something. Can save it and can sync it back. That was the main purpose of the experiment. It was really a secret project. It was an experiment of ours, and we just put the big images as documents in the database and sync them. We don't really think about that much on performance of assets.
Okay, thanks again.